States is going to be attacked by Russia.
Millions will die.
That nuclear disaster is coming to this country if we don't turn this around.
When the Lord first began to speak to me about America was when I was in college.
God showed Apostle Taylor a dream in two parts that started to come to pass. One, the bombing of the trade centers. He saw this 10 years before 9/11. He was in New York City the day before and the morning of 9/11, warning the government and the people of New York of this disaster. But Christians did not listen. Nobody was listening.
About 15 minutes ago, bodies started dropping from the top floors. It was absolutely terrible. Obviously, they had two choices: to be burned in flames or to leap and end it all.
2. Russia paid off terrorists to bomb the trade centers, and Russia was planning submarine nuclear warfare to nuke America. Sid Roth heard his testimony and had him on his show, It's Supernatural.
He's 100% accurate on prophetic dreams.
Jesus appeared once again to Apostle Taylor in a dream and stood with him, looking over America, over the coast of Florida. Jesus showed him submarines coming up to the coast undetected by America and launched a nuclear missile with the letters USSR written on it. It struck Central Florida and California, killing millions.
Spoken to in a dream by the Lord that Russia was planning to attack America, to build the biggest nuclear submarine fleet in the world. Russia's plot would be to use the seas as a cover to fool America, so by the time they got up on our shores, we wouldn't know, and they would nuke our country from submarines.
Shockingly, President Putin, a few years after this visitation from Jesus, came out to show his nuclear fleet and did a video simulation of the exact thing Jesus showed Apostle in the dream. He showed his submarines attacking Central Florida with nuclear weapons. February 24th, 2022, Americans all over the nation are witnessing the devastating news that the invasion of Ukraine has begun.
Tonight, Russia unleashing a brutal military assault on Ukraine, invading this vast nation from the north, south and east. The attacks seen in videos posted online from inside Ukraine. We saw fighter jets flying over the city this morning. A large number of Russian helicopters seen on social media posts attacking a military base less than 20 miles from the center of the capital, triggering a pitched battle. The Russians launching over 160 ballistic missiles and rockets on military installations across Ukraine.
I want all Americans to understand right now that what you see happening in the news, I have been prophesying about for over 30 years.
God does not want to see America destroyed, and he has sent Apostle Taylor as his messenger and end-time general to warn his people of this coming attack and to give the answer and solution that will avert this war. God continues to validate his friendship and covenant with David E. Taylor. February 2022, a young woman on evangelist David E. Taylor's staff received a special series of visitations from the Lord that gave warning about Russia's upcoming plans for the Ukraine and how it is also Russia's strategy to move forward in their attack against America. Listen now to what Jesus told her.
There was this bright light that came in through my window, in through my curtains, and it was so bright, it was so pure, it was just like a beautiful white color. And when I saw him as Jesus, he stood in front of the window and just allowed me to look at him. I could see the love and kindness in his eyes. And he put his hand out and he said, "Come, I have things to show you." And we were standing in the snow, the sound of a train on a track. When I looked at it, I saw all these huge military tanks and vehicles on the train. It was just rolling by. Different men in military fatigues, they were running. And as I looked closer, I saw it wasn't our military. Then the tanks began to shoot out missiles. The gunshots began, and it was just constant gunfighting. And then I just screamed out to him, "Ukraine! We're in Ukraine!" And I looked back at Jesus, and he shook his head yes. Then he grabbed my hand. We instantly were out of the battlefield, and we were in a dark, secret room, small side room in the Kremlin, when I saw Vladimir Putin sitting in a chair. And then Jesus started to talk. I have tried to speak to Vlad in his youth, even after all these years, but he prefers to keep an open ear to Lucifer. He spends his time with Satan. A man came in the room with a cell phone in his hand, and he handed it to Putin. So I could hear a Chinese voice talking to Putin. Putin began speaking back, and they both were speaking their own languages. And then Jesus said, "Listen closely. Pray. America must pray. Pray to my Father." Then Putin hung up the phone and walked out of the small side room. And I watched him walk down to a podium in a great big room. And he was speaking in Russian. There was a TV screen in my mind, and I could see the news. It read, "Putin to declare war on America. China to support and believe this is just. Other nations to follow suit." And I grabbed Jesus' arm, and I said, no, this can't be. Then Putin left the podium and walked out of the room. So we had gotten into the tunnel, and we were into this big room, and I looked, and then I saw Vladimir Putin walk in, and he sat down at the head of the table. Jesus started to talking about Putin, and he said he enjoys causing fear and confusion. He tells half-truths. He says one thing while doing the other. And then he took my hand like a second. It was like that fast. We were in another room. Jesus started to talk, and he said, "America must pray that God will be done in my friend's life so that America will not be attacked." And I said, "Yes, Lord, I will tell them." I asked, "Lord, when will this happen?" And then he just looked at me and he said, "This does not have to happen. Pray to my Father. Pray."
You got to understand that God is going to be exactly where you put him out of this nation if you don't turn to him face to face. We have turned from the face of God. We have turned from God's will. And this is why he has decided to allow America to be punished by nuclear fire. And it ain't his fault. It is the fault of many Americans and those who live in this country who have forsaken God. But I believe I'm standing in the gap for this country that will not happen. Help us save America. Come on. We will save America in Jesus' name. I decree that America shall be saved and blood brought by Jesus' blood.
In 2007, the Lord, working with Apostle David Taylor on earth, made a notable face-to-face appearance in Ukraine. Years after this appearance, Ukraine's president signed an order to celebrate the Protestant Reformation's 500th year anniversary, thanking God for his goodness to the nation. Over 500,000 gathered across denominational lines. This breakthrough is a result of the Lord having come down in the nation with Apostle David E. Taylor to bring deliverance. Face to face is the answer.
God has a plan to overcome America's weaknesses if America will come to him. America must come back to God. And this is why we're doing this whole arena thing at the Amway.
Evangelist David E. Taylor is calling every Christian in America to gather with him July 22nd and 23rd, 2022 for the global online virtual miracle arena crusade. This will be the biggest online miracle crusade of the year and will lead up to the major Heal the Land crusade at the Amway Arena Center in Orlando, Florida, July 21st and 22nd, 2023. Call now to join the movement and the fight for America at 1-877-THE-GLORY. That's 877-843-4567. And visit KOGGC.org.